It's time to finish the game. Let's go.
Ball first and 10 at the 12-yard line of the Seahawks. Sean goes right, has a cut back lane, and he does. He's across the 20, the 25-30, 35-40. Here he goes. Are they going to catch him? 40, 35-30, 25, 10, 5. Touchdown Seahawks. What a run by Sean Alexander.
Finish the game. We gonna finish the game. Yeah, finish the game. We gonna finish the game. Yeah, finish the game.
What's happening, everybody? You hear the music. It's back on. This is Sean Alexander with my man, Claude Jennings.
Yes, sir. I'm back in the Finish the Game studios. I haven't been here in a while. We've been doing the whole technology. We've been in our Arlington studios, our studios over in Silver Spring, Maryland, but now we're back in the Finish the Game studio ready to do another podcast.
That's right. Welcome, everybody, to Finish the Game. How's it going, man?
Oh, really, really good. Now, Sean, if I understand things correctly, man, you've been in the movies a lot lately, doing some movie screenings, part of some new projects you got going on. But you were able to preview a couple of movies. Talk about that.
I was. You know what? I actually went to the movie premiere Monday to see Hacksaw Ridge, which is it's about a war movie about it's a true story about this great servant medical hero who just refused to carry guns. So he jumps into the army for World War II and said, I'm not going to carry a gun. And basically, he looked like an enemy. Can you imagine playing football and a guy saying, hey, you know what? I want to be one of the 11 guys on the field, but I don't tackle or I don't block. You know what I mean? I can't wear my helmet. That's what he said. I can't wear my helmet.
I'm not going to wear this helmet.
Yeah. And so, but he just persevered, and the movie is great. And it tells a story about a man of his convictions. And, I mean, you get to one part of the movie, and he helps save, about 75 guys that are wounded on the field. And and it's just amazing about the story of true courage, about a man's conviction to go and do what he wants to do, but do it in the way that God has told him to do it.
Right.
And people get scared. We be like, man, I feel God's telling me that he said that, and they're like, you're gonna go out there in the war with no gun. Yeah. And but it's really beautiful.
So that's Hacksaw Ridge.
That's Hacksaw Ridge. Okay. And then Tuesday, I was at the movie premiere of Queen of Catway.
I want to see that.
Oh man, this movie is powerful. The executive producer is my good friend John Carls, and gosh, it's got some great actors. David Oyelowo, who played Martin Luther King in Selma,
right?
And so he plays Robert Kende, and then there's a girl named Fiona, and Fiona is this girl. Basically, they're just a poor family in Africa. And Catway's a city, and they just they had nothing. They lived on dirt floors. They were corn sellers. They'd go to the market and sell corn. And at the end of the day, Fiona, she's walking through, and she must be 11 or 12, sees her older brother sneaking off after he sells his corn. He's sneaking off to the soccer fields. And David Oyelowo plays Robert Kende, who plays the soccer coach, who looks over at the older boy and says, hey, why don't you boys play the game? They said, oh, we ain't got enough money that if we get hurt to even go to the doctors. We can't even think about affording to get hurt. Mm-hmm. And he challenged them to learn how to play chess to compete that way. And little Fiona, she becomes she follows the man. She starts learning. She becomes the queen. And she dominates the game. And just so many great messages through that about being willing to go for something bigger than what everybody says you should.
Right.
It has some great stories like the pawn. That's the little small piece. They tell that like if the pawn takes baby steps all the way to the end of the board, it becomes the big one. And it tells the story of persevering. You know what I mean? Yeah. And she goes on to become the best player in their little city. That becomes the best player in their country.
Wow.
And literally the money from that, she buys her family a house. And this girl now is she's 17 now, about to turn 18.
Get out of here.
And so it's a real story. And she is I actually met her yesterday.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Met her yesterday. Met her and Robert, the real people.
Wow.
I'll put it on the Instagram and let y'all see it. But real people that just came from nothing. Used the money from winning those things to buy her parents a house, and she'll probably end up going to a great college this year. Hopefully, Stanford or Yale or somewhere like that, or Alabama. One of the big three, one of the big three academic endeavors. You know what I mean? And so it was really beautiful, man. And I'm going to really try to promote a lot of people to go see both those movies. Hacksaw Ridge and Queen of Catway, and it's really special for me and John because John and I we're partnering up to create hero films, and we're going to be coming up with some great inspirational movies about some of the great sports heroes and their faith with sports heroes, being a sport athlete and things like that. So we're excited. We've been talking about with the NFL now about doing some of the faith in some of the NFL MVPs. And it's going to be sweet. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause not everybody knows their story, and not everybody knows everybody's story. Some people, you know, it's that praying grandma that got them to become the best. And some of it is that strong father, and some of it's the mother. Some of it's just been them. And we're going to love telling the faith behind some of the great MVPs of the NFL. Yeah,
and it's like, you know, I mean, we hear these stories all the time about someone who came from nothing. Sometimes when you see someone in their place of accomplishment, we don't attach a struggle or a story to it because we don't know it. Yeah. And sometimes telling that story so people can see it allows us to say, hey, you know, if he was able to come from nothing and accomplish what he accomplished,
that's right,
or even just come from what seems to be a normal situation, you know, and they accomplish greatness, I can do it too.
I mean, that's what it's all about, really. It's about challenging folks and inspiring folks to go do something great, because God's given us all great abilities and great gifts to go be special. And, you know, and that's what we're all about. That's what Finish the Game was all about.
Definitely.
This is Sean Zander. You with Claude Jennings, and you're listening to Finish the Game. And speaking of great, college football. You already know. You already know.
Talk some college football.
Bama's 2-0.
2-0. Big game coming up this Saturday.
Oh, this is monstrous. I'm really at 3:30 CBS. I'm thinking about having people come over and watch the game, or at least go down to the local sports place and watch some games. And it's big because I've got that good feeling for this team, like I told you I had from the beginning. But this one always makes me a little nervous because they've beat us the last 2 years. It's against Ole Miss.
Right.
And, you know, but even before I talk about the Bama Ole Miss, I think about, you know, they played Western Kentucky, and two of my closest friends from high school played at Western Kentucky.
Right.
And, you know, my daughters were like, hey, you know, we beat them 38-10, you know, beat them pretty good. They did score with 6 seconds left of the game to make it 38-10, better than 38-3. So I'm proud of them. Good job, Uncle Ray and Uncle Brian. But at the end of the day, my girls were like, hey, did you rub in on Uncle Ray and Uncle Brian? I said, nah, ain't no need. They was proud to play in that game. You know, they was. Bless their heart. You know what I mean?
Right. But we got a big one coming up Saturday.
We do. Bama Ole Miss it's going to be big, and I think that this will be the most focus that Bama has played against them. It's still hard to get 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old boys to really focus in, and Ole Miss has always been that trap for us because we do what we do these first two games. We beat up teams so bad that we actually don't think an SEC school is playing, but Ole Miss has got talent, and they're going to come out playing, and they got a little confidence. They have beat us the last 2 years, so it's going to be fun beating them by like 28-3 or something like that again. Yeah. So, but there's some other big games too.
Yeah, and it looks like right now Ole Miss is favored. Alabama's favored. Sorry, double-digit favored against Ole Miss. So it looks like the odds makers are saying that Alabama's got a good chance to win this game. So we'll see. Although last year, like a close game to Ole Miss at home, 43-37 was the score last year. So, yeah, I remember watching that. And it was an unbelievable game, though, to be honest with you.
Well, unbelievable for people. I mean, everything bounced really, really well for Ole Miss. And you know, we didn't pull it through. They did. Yeah. It went well for them. But it's not going to go that time this time. You know what I mean? I'm already telling you, I don't feel sorry for anything that happens to Ole Miss this Saturday. It's going to be on. But, you know, but
games, right?
Yeah, there is. So we got some other games. FSU and Louisville. I mean, Florida State versus Louisville. That's big. You know, I'm from Kentucky. You know, that's a big game because Louisville, you know, they have potential to do something special. I really think Florida State's still going to win. But the game I'm also really excited about is Oklahoma. They play against Ohio State.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And so their quarterback I've always thought was special, Barrett, and gosh, he's from Texas, so he's always had that, I don't like Oklahoma in his blood. You know what I mean? He always had that. And so now to get to see him use that on Oklahoma, you know, for Ohio State, it's going to be good. So we got some great games. So
Oklahoma, by the way, can't really afford another loss after losing to Houston.
Yeah, they done
early in the season. They can't afford to lose another game, or else they won't make the playoffs, even if they, you know, win the rest of these games. You know, 2 losses, even though it would be against Ohio State and Houston, still probably wouldn't get them in because you got to figure whether it's FSU or Clemson, depending on what Louisville do, Alabama, like these teams likely will go undefeated. You could also look at an undefeated Ohio State or Michigan or Michigan State. And that's out of that group's going to be your 4. That's going to leave Oklahoma, a 2-loss Oklahoma, if they lose to Ohio State out.
Well, Michigan State plays Notre Dame, so they're done too.
Right.
So go Irish. Let's go Ohio State. Go Buckeyes. Now we done knocked off 2 teams real quick.
They got rid of Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? One game that I'm looking forward to because is this Colorado-Michigan game, because Colorado I think is a little better this year than they've been the last couple of years, but Michigan, has scheduled, again, these easy cupcakes early in the season. You just kind of want to see, like, are they for real? This is it's not a big test from the fact that this is a top 20 school, but it's also a big Division I school who should be better improved this year. Just want to see if Michigan's going to be able to put up those numbers the way they did against, smaller schools.
I don't know. I don't really trust Colorado. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I ain't going to lean too much. And I think Harbaugh's a great coach. I mean, Harbaugh was great. Everywhere he's been, Stanford, then he goes to the pros with San Francisco, now he's in Michigan, and they're good, so I don't expect a Harbaugh coach football team to lose games that they shouldn't lose.
Right.
And so that's what this is, but gosh, but college football is great, but we got to get to the NFL. I mean, the first thing I think of is, of course, my Seahawks, and we don't lose at home, and that's what we did. We didn't play great, but we don't lose at home, and so we find a way. We sputter around, and we got that number Trey back there playing quarterback. We got a shot. You
got Russell. So this week you guys go to Los Angeles, first game in Los Angeles, and who knows how long against the Rams, who were shut out 28-0. The second game on Monday Night Football to San Francisco. So.
Yeah, so they're licking their wounds and good. You know what I mean? So no, but it's going to be a great game. I hope Seahawks get running the ball a little bit better. But that's Seahawk football. We play special teams. We run the ball. Our quarterback makes third down throws and don't turn the ball over. That's how it was when it was Hasselbeck and I back in the day. We created a culture, and I love to see that. Defense is still tough, and they make the plays at the end to win the game. And so Seahawks it's going to be great. The thing that out of all the NFL teams, the Patriots and their win, they look good.
Mm-hmm.
They look good. But the team that really impressed me the most, I told you from the beginning, the Patriots beating Arizona. I thought those are 2 of the best 4 teams. I thought the Seahawks, of course, one of the best teams, but. Gosh, them Pittsburgh Steelers, what they did to the Washington Redskins
looked really good. And, and I was talking to a couple buddies of mine, even locally, to do a Redskins recap show in D.C. And I was just saying that watching the game, especially through the first half, it wasn't anything that the Redskins didn't do. The Pittsburgh Steelers were just better.
Right.
I mean, they were 38-16 better. You know what I mean? They were that much better than them. I mean, you can pick on Brashard Breeland, or how come they didn't have Josh Norman shadow Antonio
I would have
Brown.
shadow.
Yeah, I would shadow too. But at the same time, it's like you have one of the best receivers, probably the best receiver in the league right now, and a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger throwing him the ball.
We're not going to talk about one of them Super Bowls. We're not going to. I mean, it's really funny. Like, Pittsburgh's so good, but because of that one Super Bowl, I still don't want to give them any credit. But gosh,
you're holding on to that.
I'm holding on. Let it go, Sean. Let it go.
So it wasn't anything to risk, because there was the Skins should have did this and my team should have did. I'm talking to these fans. I'm like, man, Pittsburgh's better than them. They are 38-16 better. That's about right.
They got it, and unfortunately the Redskins, they're still like thinking about in the 90s, I guess, because they are that much better than the Redskins. It's hard to swallow, but they are, and I'm gonna still keep cheering for them. But when Pittsburgh show up, they're gonna be like, they need to go tie their shoe or go wash their hair or something like that, because that's grown men playing right there.
Right. I mean, the Skins still have a weak rush defense, and so Pittsburgh was able to run all over them. They can't get a pass rush. Pittsburgh has a good offensive line, and so Big Ben had all day to throw the ball.
Yeah.
And you got one of the best receivers in the league. That's what's going to happen when you have that. I don't understand fans' expectations sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either. You know who was really good to watch? The Oakland Raiders. You know, I have a heart to you know, when I start off, the Seahawks and the Raiders were big rivals my rookie year, and then we go over to the NFC West and watching them. I always keep my eye on what they're doing, and gosh, they looked really good. They played the Saints, and I'm just watching their growth, and I love their little quarterback, little Carr, and gosh, they looked good. But you know what was amazing was just that the Saints, you know, of course, Mark Ingram's their guy. You know what I mean? Bama roll tide, we still there.
By the way, 12 carries, 58 yards.
That's right. Ingram. That's what I'm saying. My boy doing the work. You know, almost 5 yards a carry. Had a couple nice receptions, you know. But they fired C.J. Spiller.
Yeah, and that was shocking to me. I didn't see that coming.
He couldn't have. I know I didn't. I mean, but that boy has played 13 games with the Saints and has pocketed $9 million in 13 games.
Yeah.
Whew, I guess, I don't know.
That's a pretty good pay scale.
Hey,
right?
He did good. You know what I'm saying? He did good. Boy, you doing well. You know. And so.
But you know, one of the biggest stories leading into the NFL season isn't even really anything that's going on the field. We hadn't talked about this yet, but Colin Kaepernick with the protest of the national anthem. You know, folks are supporting them. Some folks aren't supporting them. Everybody's got something to say. We haven't talked about it on Finish the Game. What do you think about that, Sean?
You know what? I've been going back and forth about how to say what I feel correctly. You know, because I feel like, you know, I've got military people all in my family, police officers in my family, firemen in my family, and I feel like Kaepernick's stance on, hey, I'm not going to do the American flag, people took it and shifted it right to, does he not respect the Army, the military, the country, when he told you what the stand was for. It was about, basically, in my words, black folks and white folks not having the same United States.
Right.
And I think that when you keep it at what he's doing for what it's for and not just creating what you want it to be about, then we can talk about that.
Right.
And so I feel like, you know, I mean, like, let's be honest. We all are thankful for the military. And, you know, and I was just in Fort Benning 3 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we love our troops and we love our soldiers and we love our country. But if we get to what Cap's talking about, he's talking about a real deal issue. Like, hey, black folks and white folks really don't have the same life top to bottom all the way through. And, you know, I'm from Florence, Kentucky. You know, I'm family from Cincinnati.
Right.
Mom moved us across the bridge, and we were in a predominantly white country town, you know. But even with that, folks still don't know, even if I was raised with dominantly white folks around, you still don't understand that black racism and black looks and second looks and third looks and walking into stores and people kind of watching you in grocery stores or whatever to see if you walk down a store and you see a box on the floor and they say, oh, did you drop that? Now, why would I drop a box? You know what I mean? Like, so those type things are real, and it really hit me this last Monday. I'm driving down the street, you know, down the street from the crib, you know what I mean? The other house, not the farmhouse, the other house, you know, and a cop pulls me over. And I think to myself, oh, okay, well, I wonder if I was speeding. You know, there's an elementary school like down the street, and I wasn't. And so I see him walk, and I see him get out, and I see him slowly go around the tags. It's kind of slowly, hands on the gun, and he stops around the back of the door behind me, the seat behind me, and he says, hey, and I rolled down my window, and he says, can I see your license and registration? And I said, oh, yes, sir. And I looked down and to reach for it, and he says, put your hands on the steering wheel. And I'm over here thinking to myself, like, really? What are we about to do here?
Yeah.
You know, here I am, you know, I'm moving big dollar bills out the way to get to my wallet. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real with this, you know? And I'm grabbing my wallet, and he says, put your hands on the steering wheel. And I'm like, this dude, if he's nervous, could literally shoot me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Wife, 8 kids on a farm, you know, friends, radio show, could shoot me because he can't really see. All he knows is I'm a 6'2", 225 black man that's in a nice neighborhood, right next to an elementary school, and he just pulls me over. And so he finally gets up there, and we talk a little bit, and I give him the license, and you know, he goes back and does all the checks, and he comes back, and I had to ask, so, officer, what made you pull me over? well, I couldn't really tell your license plate because it was dirty, and by law, like, they have a rule that if you can't see something on a license plate, you check the dates and the times and expiration and this and that. If there's any kind of distraction from the rest, then I can pull you over. And I'm like, okay, I do live on a farm. It could be dirty. But come on, I get this feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I might need to take a knee during the national anthem to let everybody know. Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm. This still happens.
We still got to talk about this. You know what I mean? And everybody knows me. I've got great white friends, great black friends, great Hispanic friends, great Indian friends, great Korean friends, great Japanese friends. We go to Gauntlet, and I've mentored a lot and discipled a lot for Jesus, and turned people in from every different color towards Jesus. That's what I do.
Right.
But we can't we can't just misplace that this guy pulled me over because my license plate was dirty.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we got to ask this question, like, well, what's really going on? And that's where, that's where I feel like, on one hand, I definitely like what Cap's done. He's like, hey, I'm going to bring attention that this is not real. You know what I mean? Like this, we can't ignore that there's some stuff going on that the black man has to go through and the white man doesn't. We can't act like that, and that's sometimes where I get on my political, wait a minute, what do we mean 3 strikes you're out?
Right.
Police officers decide how many strikes you get, you know what I mean?
Right.
If this guy's nervous, he can give me a strike. And just off of, I thought, where if your name and your shade of your skin is a little bit lighter, he might not be nervous, so then there's no strike. Right. And so those things
might not even pull you over.
And so those things have to always be talked about. And they have to be up front.
And by the way, bringing that up doesn't mean that you hate the country or you think America is a horrible place to be.
Not at all.
I mean, and so when someone says, hey, there's some racial injustice that happened in this country, and folks are like, well, then go somewhere better, find somewhere better than America. It's like, no one is saying that this country is a horrible place to be.
We have the best country in the world, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's just like, why not continue to make it better?
Yeah, we got. Because
that's one of the beautiful things about America. I say this all the time. I was passionately discussing this with a friend the other day. That even with all the racial injustice of this country, America has this ability to heal itself and to progress itself. Like all the progress that we've made regarding race didn't happen from an outside influence.
No.
Americans made that.
We decided
Martin Luther King
together,
and all those in the Civil Rights Act,
JFK,
white and black,
we're all together.
All these Americans helped make America better, and that's the beautiful thing about America. It can self-correct, and so that's what you try to do when you try to bring awareness to it. When Colin Kaepernick can say, I'm not going to stand during the national anthem, it's because Sean Alexander, who played in the NFL, who probably most of these police officers cheered for, had on their fantasy teams and won the fantasy league because of you. One still pulled you over because you were in a neighborhood, and had his gun drawn, and he's super nervous and he's yelling at you as if he's about to shoot you. And that can still happen to someone who makes it in this great country.
Yeah, because you just think like, I doubt that happens with, who were great quarterbacks when I was playing. Well, Brady's still playing, but and Manning's on TV all the time. But I guess I ain't too far gone. Some quarterbacks play so much longer than there. But there's some other great white players. Brian Urlacher, great linebacker. If he's driving down that neighborhood, I believe the cop's not nervous.
Right.
I'm not saying like he can't get pulled over if he thinks it's tabs. I'm still shaky on that one.
Yeah, right.
But what I'm saying is, I don't feel that nervous tension if Brian Urlacher's driving.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And the thing, you're not just making that up. I mean, that
2 days ago.
Nervous feeling. Yeah, that happened 2 days ago. And those nervous feelings that you have and the cop has is because of the track record of these things happening. I mean, that's why that exists. It's not just, blacks are nervous around cops just because they're making up this stuff. No, they're nervous around them for a reason. I'm driving down the street, and if a cop is just driving down the street behind me, I'm like, oh, let me pull off. I will get into another lane just so the cop can go in front of me so he's not behind me because of my experiences with cops.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And
and I love police officers. We have buddies who are truthful.
That's right.
We share a mutual friend who's a truthful.
We sure do.
My stepfather is a correctional officer. Yep. I mean, so we have this in our lives, but there's still that real tension.
It's real. And so that's it. And so my thing with Cap, I've always thought to myself, like, gosh, I wish he had done one more step. You know what I mean? Call up a couple of other black and white friends and be like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Let's all do this together. I like what the Seahawks did where they all locked arms. But I still think there's another step. So now we get everybody involved, but now we get the other step. Like, let's figure out what to do next.
Right.
And I don't know. I think there's going to be some great minds that have to really get together because, you know, it's been many decades or more than decades, many centuries of racism in our country. So we can't deny that. And we do love the progress that we are in now. But the only thing that I've heard that I just really loved was what Ray Lewis said.
Okay.
He said, you know what? When there was a problem with guys on the Ravens when he was playing, the great players would challenge the others to be better players.
Right.
You know, I know when we were in Seattle, you know, and I loved my boys, I would challenge them to be great on Sunday. We had some great practices where we 2000 we was bad, 2001, 2002, we could tell we were turning around, but it wasn't looking the same on game day.
Wow.
And when we had to have some real serious man-to-man, brother-to-brother kind of conversation to say, look, dude, you're great Monday through Saturday, but on Sunday, them lights come on, you ain't great no more. I need you great when everybody's watching, you know?
Right.
The great players challenge the other players to be great. And I think that Ray Lewis, when he was talking about that, he said, this is what the police force needs to do. The police force need to challenge the other policemen that are dirty to get out of there.
Right.
You know, they need to challenge them to either to be the one to say, look, you're being racist, so we don't even want you on this team. Like, because that happens.
Right.
There's some guys that, you know, great talent, but you know what? They ain't gonna make it with their attitudes towards ball. So you know what? Let's get rid of this guy and just go. We'll get somebody with less talent that's all in than we will with somebody that's all in. I believe the police force are going to have to. The great ones are going to have to challenge the other great ones because there are some great police officers out there.
Oh, absolutely.
And
that goes without saying.
They're going to have to challenge some of the other ones and be like, look, dude, not on my team, not with my unit.
But you know what you just said is also important, like to say, you know, that we believe that there are, you know, just great police men out there, great troopers, because and like I said, we know a few. You know, that's another thing. When you commend police forces, there are those who feel like, you know, you can't support the police or say the police are doing a great job, and that means that you're like against the cause. And it doesn't mean that. I think sometimes by showing your support to police, to the good police, to the great ones that are out there making a difference in communities and keeping people safe, that you encourage them to continue to be great, to be proud of their great work, and to expect that greatness from others. Sometimes for a father or for a husband to be better in their home, they need to feel encouraged as a father. You know, you're doing a great job as a father. You're doing a great job as a husband, and it helps them continue to try to be great. And in the same token, you know, someone saying, hey, there are tons of great police officers out there. That doesn't mean that person's not for the cause.
Right.
Or for getting
without a doubt.
Yeah, but so it's okay to say that. The thing is that folks just kind of go to their own sides in a lot of these discussions.
Right.
You know, you either have to be anti-police or, you know, anti-blacks, or, you know, there are no any bad police officers. They're all good. No, there's the middle where real life exists, where
without
there's
a doubt.
some good.
We got to be honest.
Bad.
There's some black folks that we know that we would not let in our house.
Yeah, you were pulled over because there was weed smoke coming out of your house.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? We got a feeling that weed smell in your car was why they pulled you over. I mean, like, we got to be honest with that. But then there also are some police officers that we got to say, like, gosh, you know what? Everything about that guy is racist.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's bad in both of them, but then there's also some solid, integrous black men.
Yes.
Just like there's some solid, integrous police officers.
If the good people just try to solve the problems, let's be solution oriented.
Correct.
So fixing a problem doesn't mean focusing on the problem. Fixing a problem means focusing on the solution.
That's what I want.
That's how you fix a problem.
That's what I want, and I think that part of it is having that internal self-weeding out system. You know what I mean? Like, the whites need to hold the whites accountable that are racist. Like, wait a minute, we don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I know this person, and I trust this black man, and the same with the blacks. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we've had to have several conversations with, look, okay, just because that person's white does not mean he's a racist. Like, you can actually trust him. You know, he did not do anything to your food in the back of the cafeteria. You know what I mean? Like, because black folks, we tend to think that, like, oh, wait, you know, I don't really trust this guy. You know what I mean? And some of us give us a reason to, but not all of them do.
Sure.
And I think that we have to have that healthy thing. But I think it goes back to we have to help each other, blacks, whites, help your own internal grouping to stop predetermining who a person is, stop profiling, stop discriminating until you get to know them. Now, once you know them, let's handle it appropriately. You know what I mean? Okay. Like some folks, they need to go spend some time getting themselves together. That's how we put it. You know what I mean? Black and white, racist, non-racist, troubled or not troubled. Some people need some time getting their stuff together. So let's help them do that. But like, let's not go prejudge. You know what I mean? And let's, you know, and you know, like I've told you before, use my own situation. I understand. I got police officers in the family. I understand the nervousness that people can have pulling people over. But we gotta go get this thing fixed. You know, I think that, like I said a few shows ago, the starts with you don't be nervous, police officer, and then also you in a car don't be nervous. So then coming in a situation, you know, even when the guy left, I asked him 2 questions. I said, you know, hey, what did you pull me over for again? Just want to make sure. Oh yeah, because your license plate, I couldn't really tell what it was. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I heard that correctly. And hey, you know what? I said this, it wasn't even a question. Thanks for doing what you do. Mm-hmm. You know, I trust you police officers, and I want y'all to do a good job. Now, why did I say that? Because I don't want the next black man for him to be like, yeah, see, I'm nervous, and see, I have to be.
Because this last interaction he had with you.
I want him to be like, man, I shouldn't be that nervous. This guy's like, you know, this guy's a model citizen. You know what I mean? Like this, he's an American citizen. So I'm not gonna come at him like he's about to endanger my life. And I believe that you should come prepared, police officers, just like any person that's going to work. Come prepared. But the
Don't
nervousness,
be so quick with that trick.
Keep the gun on you. You know, I'm like, really? You know,
don't want to get that wrong.
Yeah, my goodness. I'm like, wrong. And I've been in a place where I got security guards. I'm like, do I got a security guards to go to the grocery store? This is crazy, you know.
Right. Don't want to get that wrong. By the way, you're listening to Finish the Game, the Finish the Game podcast with Sean Alexander. I'm Claude Jennings. He's Sean. We're just talking about the NFL season. We're talking about the anthem protests that we've seen across the NFL, and just really saying, okay, you know, it's one thing to protest, but let's talk about it, but then also be solution focused as well.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I think at the end of the day, it kind of is my fresh manna moment of the season right now. It's kind of what is the thing, what is the voice, what is the aroma I want to leave people when I'm gone, when I leave there, not like dead, but when I leave the room, like quickly, you know what I mean? Like, hey, Sean Alexander was at this movie premiere. Oh, I met Sean Alexander. Yeah, that's great. What is that aroma? What's that taste I want to leave them? And I think that we all have to think about that going into a situation. Are you prepared for that situation? And then what is the real goal? What is the flavor you want to leave them when you leave? And I was just, you know me, I'm always in my word. I was reading Philemon 7, and it was really cool. But it said, the heart of the believer has been refreshed by you. And I just like, oh man, I want that. I want to be a person that those who do believe in Jesus Christ, those who have an inkling understanding of that Jesus Christ, the most amazing person ever walk on this earth, is real and tangible. I want them to be refreshed when I leave. Like, man, I can do this. I can keep on learning about him. I can keep on studying this person. And that's, I feel that about life, whether you're even saved or unsaved. I want you to be like, man, there's something about Sean that was refreshing.
Right.
It made me feel like I can go and be better and do better. And everybody listens to my voice. I want you to understand this. I want you to be successful in what you do. Husbands, I want you to be great husbands, and wives, great wives, and fathers, I want you to raise great weapons for Jesus and great impacts to our country and our society. I want to refresh you to know that it's possible for you to finish the game. And so everything in your life, like, I want it to be better, and I want to be a person that can help you be better at life. And I think that this scripture just kind of stirred me this morning, and of just saying, hey, you know what? Go make sure that you refresh the hearts of people. And I challenge all y'all with that. You know what I mean? Like, hey, when people leave your presence, do they feel refreshed or do they feel down? Do they feel like they need to go get better at life because you've encouraged and challenged them, which could both be healthy things? Wow. Or do they feel like, okay, let me go meet somebody, or let me go do something to kind of get that feeling off me?
Right.
I think that's a great part of being a finisher at this game called life, you know. And so whether we talk about the convictions and of movies like in Hacksaw Ridge we started the show with, or whether we're talking about the excitement of college football and Bama trying to get back in Ole Miss from beating these years, and we talk about the NFL and the Seahawks win at home, or even Colin Kaepernick not standing for the national anthem. Like, at the end of the day, you're going to leave a flavor in somebody's mouth. Why not set the goal to be the one that refreshes them, to charges them up to go be something special, to think about something greater than them, and maybe just that person, because of you, might be the one that really has a great change to their community, to their family, or even the world.
Right. Wow.
That should be the real goal of life.
And that's how you finish the game, ladies and gentlemen. So, Sean, coming up this weekend, you're going to have to pray for me because it's Redskins Cowboys week.
I know.
Big week for me, being a Cowboys fan.
It is.
Big week for me. So we'll see how all that goes. And by the way, coming up on the 19th, which is a Monday, my wife and I celebrate 7 years of marriage.
Yes,
so
yes.
We're still trying to log in those hours and those years and finish the game that way. And so, yeah, man.
It's going to be a big week, man.
Yeah,
it's going to be a big week.
So.
Well, let's give a special shout out to our very first guest, Alfred Morris, who's coming back as a Cowboy.
Alf, let's do it. Let's do this, man.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
By the way, I mean, folks who just get to see him play on Sunday, man. I mean, Alf is a really good guy. I had so much fun that time he came into the studio.
Yeah, he was in the studio.
Kind of hung out and talking. You get to talk to him a lot. And,
I do.
And mentor him. Just a really good guy, man. Really down to earth guy. Solid individual.
So let's agree. We want Alfred Morris to come in. I mean, Coach Williams might be right about this.
He talked about that. Yeah, when we had.
He might be right.
We had Coach Ivy Williams on the podcast a couple shows back.
Our running game specialist.
And because he was your running back coach in Alabama.
Yep.
Spent some time in Detroit with the Lions. I had asked him, "Is Zeke the truth?" And he said, "Man, I'm not going to say he's not, but you may want to get that ball out."
Yeah, he did. He called that out.
He basically, He said, "Man,
I tell you what." So let's both agree. We want Alfred to get in the game, put up about 100.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll both just disagree about who we want to win.
You got it.
Hey, y'all, this is Sean Zander. I'm with Claude Jennings, y'all, and we thank y'all for listening to the podcast. We love you guys, bless you guys, and you all go finish the game.
We gonna finish the game.